What's going on, everybody? I am back once again. Ignore the bad haircut. I'll get a haircut eventually. But let's go ahead and talk about one of my favorite characters in politics, Lauren Boebert, or as I like to call her, Lauren Boebert. Um, she is in a bit of controversy. She was kicked out of the theater recently, and let's go ahead and read this article briefly as to why. I'm pretty sure you already know why, but if not, I'll catch you up a bit. The Ew, that was a mess up right there. The Republican Congresswoman apologized on Friday after a video showed her being escorted out of a performance of Beetlejuice in Denver on September 10th after complaints about vaping and disruptive behavior. Video footage that was later released also showed Boebert seemingly groping her date and being groped by him. Now we have the video footage. It was released. So let's go ahead and take a look at this footage here. Now, this is reposted by Brian Taylor Cohen. Here is security footage of Lauren Boebert at a family-friendly music performance before she was kicked out. Now, this is very important because Republicans, for the longest time ever, for the past 2 years, has been going on this all-out assault against drag performances, LGBTQ representation, basically anywhere, calling it woke to calling it, I don't know if I could even say it on YouTube, but calling them predators. Let's just go with that. Now, she's being groped in public, which is, of course, sexual. But these are the same people who are claiming that drag queens are coming after your kids, and like some guy walking down the street who just happened to be gay with his husband or wife, if she's a woman, together, that's supposedly grooming. But this right here is not somehow. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Now, as you can see, my man is got a handful of those titties. So he's just like, he's making his move. He's grabbing all over them. Very clear, like you can see it. And Lauren Boebert, if you are just hearing my voice, she is now reaching over, grabbing his crotch, and now she's going for the double handy. So she has two hands on it initially. My man is still groping. She puts her second hand back in there. She's falling all over them. So that is it on loop. Now, let's go over to the hypocrisy of it all. If you aren't, if you aren't convinced yet, let's go ahead and play it with the audio, because this is Lauren Boebert coming out of her own mouth, her words. This is what she says that we need to focus on in terms of our children.
Puts on lipstick and dons a headdress. He is then given a costume jewelry before being taken to the NYC Mermaid Parade, where he can freely express himself. Here's the bottom line. Let's stop grooming our children, including our military kids. It's gross. It is wrong. I am here to take a stand against it, and I urge my colleagues to pass my amendment to protect our military children from obscene content they should not be exposed to.
So at the very end, obscene content that they should not be exposed to, like two people fondling each other's genitals. Well, one person fondling someone's genitals, and the other person is got a handful of titties. But this is in public, and this is at a family-friendly event, which surely has children there. So I wonder if Boebert is going to come out and admit that she is a groomer. Of course not. Are Republicans going to come out and call her a groomer? Of course not. There might be like one Republican, but overall, there's not going to be a strong movement that's looking to expel Boebert, calling her a groomer, and all of these attacks are not going to happen. Now, imagine if this was somebody like AOC for a second. You would hear about it nonstop. It would be all in Fox News, all on Newsmax. I don't even know if AON even exists anymore. They're completely irrelevant now. Every like right-wing grifter and every right-wing agitator like Benjamin Shapiro, Steven Crowder, all of those people, Candy Owens, Matt Walsh, all of those people would be around the clock attacking her, and she would probably have even more death threats than she already does. And here is AOC's reaction to it, because before, during COVID was going on and all of that, AOC, I believe, in the midst of all of that, it's been quite some time now. She went to Florida, and I'll just go ahead and let her speak for herself.
All I gotta say is I can't go out to lunch in Florida in my free time, not doing anything, just eating outside, and it's wall-to-wall Fox News coverage. And then you have a member of Congress engaging in sexually lewd acts in a public theater, and they got nothing to say. I danced to Phoenix once in college, and it was like all over the place. But putting on a whole show of their own at Beetlejuice, and there's nothing. I'm just saying, be consistent. That's all.
putting on the whole show. But yeah, if AOC did this, if Ilhan Omar did this, if really any woman Democrat did this, it would be wall-to-wall news coverage. They would be called degenerate. They would be called groomers. They would be called predators, and you would see a flood of just right-wing hatred and a bunch of weirdos frothing at the mouth, ready to just put her head in a guillotine over this. But because it's Lauren Boebert, you're going to see some pushback, because I have seen some pushback by conservatives, but nowhere near as a level it would be if it was somebody like AOC, for an example. Now, what is funny about this is we're going to play the next clip, and this is where you're going to start seeing the defense for this, because there was defense in trying to deny all the allegations beforehand, but as sooner or later they found out that they were caught in 4K, they were caught on video, they could no longer run from it, so they had to at least try to take it face on. So this is Lauren Boebert's response now. Here we go.
Congresswoman, I know it's been a rough week. Or has it been?
It's always hard whenever there's gravity put on the voters. I'm here to provide levity and lift burdens off of people. So anytime that they're carrying mine, it's something that kind of feel deep inside. But ultimately, all future date nights have been canceled, and I learned to check party affiliations before you go on a date. But all in all, it was mostly a lovely time, and I've taken responsibility for my actions. Would love to know how the musical ended, and I encourage people to go and see it. But it was a great time back in the district, seeing voters and.
So how are the voters taking it? How are the voters taking it right now? Are they?
So you kind of get a sense of what Boebert is going for, and she also said that she has to check the voter registration before she goes on a date next time, because the guy that she actually went on the date is a Democrat, a Democrat who owns a gay-friendly bar that hosts drag shows. So not only was she caught fondling another dude's a ball sack in public, she was fondling a guy's nuts all in public while her titties were being groped. The dick that she was massaging belonged to a guy who has a gay-friendly bar and that happens to host drag shows, which Lauren Boebert is very, at least publicly, against, because according to her and many of the Republicans, drag shows are somehow predatory by nature, and if you have a gay-friendly bar and you are LGBTQ-friendly, you are somehow also a predator. Now, this kind of relates to the next conspiracy theory that we're slowly kind of wrapping ourselves into. I have no idea how far this will go, but Ian Miles Chong chimed in on this, one of these nut jobs on the right wing, And I just want to show you this because it is interesting. I want to look at the comments because you have all these weirdos who are actually defending her. Now, keep in mind, as I said before, this is just Twitter. These are blue hash marks, blue check marks. These people are the most insane people on the internet. And you do have some Republicans giving her pushback, prominent ones. But let's look at these comments real quick. How did they get this footage? They really just got it like that everywhere. LOL. Oh my God, adults doing adult things. How could they? Now, these are people who are just playing defense for her. They would never do this if it was somebody else. You know, imagine if it was like a gay couple doing this. They would be crying that this is the exposure to sexuality that they've been talking about for years now, or how that we need to just go ahead and ban gay people from existing because it is just further proof that they are degenerate by nature. And here's my favorite. This is from Matt Wallace. At this point, I can't even tell if it's satire. I can't even tell because it's not just him. It's some other guys that were also like posting this as well. After investigation, I have discovered proof that Lauren Boebert theater incident was a setup. Working on a full story now. We'll post everything tonight. Now, at this point, like I said, I don't use Twitter that often, and I'm not really familiar with Matt Wallace. I looked at his account, and it's just like really weird, right? This guy's an absolute weirdo, and he has the blue check mark, so I'm instantly suspicious. And he also has is like the Dogecoin stuff. So like, if I see this account, I'm just thinking this guy is like an absolute tool. But I don't know what conspiracy could be possibly set up. I mean, Lauren Boebert was fondling the dude's junk. She even went for the double handy. And if the setup is that she was kind of coerced into it, it really doesn't make any sense. Because if you're a woman, now, obviously I'm not a woman, but I can imagine if a woman gets like her titties fondled by guys she doesn't want them to be fondled by, she would then react by putting her hand in the dude's crotch and playing with it, okay? But just one more note. Whenever they say, oh, think about the kids, think about the kids, think about the kids, we know that this is BS. I'll give you one policy example. Mitch McConnell was the GOP. Reportedly opposed free school lunches. Kids are going to have less on their plates. This is what happened last year. Now, keep in mind, Democrats and Republicans, vastly different. Oftentimes you will hear, oh, they're kind of the same. No. So for an example, you have, I believe, Minnesota or Michigan. They provided free school lunch for all their kids in public schools. Meanwhile, you have Mitch McConnell, one of the head leaders of the GOP, denying kids free school lunches. Now, these are the same people who are like, think of the children. Meanwhile, they don't care about them going hungry. There is another case where they denied school lunches and then voted for themselves to have bigger lunch budgets. So it's just insane. So anytime they tell you that they care about the kids, they don't care about the kids, okay? It is a tool to, every time they say, think of the children, it's just a tool to further their political agenda, their social agenda, which is most of the time targeting some minority group that they dislike. So I plan on making more videos in the future, more consistent schedule. So go ahead and hit the like button, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and I am out of here.